Hey guys, Moldran here. In the last few weeks have been very busy for me with college. I'm completing my bachelor thesis on streaming and a lot of courses, but now semester is coming to an end. It's actually over almost, and I'm able to make daily videos again and live streams. And today I want to start talking about this thing here. Now there was a post on several Reddits of Blizzard related games and so on, where apparently an inside source of Blizzard Entertainment was talking about the development of Hearthstone, Overwatch, Heroes of Storm, Diablo, and so on. And today I want to go through this, everything that say about Diablo, that the team has been gutted completely and so on, and about Hearthstone and so on, and tell you my own thoughts about those things, if they're real, and what's going to happen in the future. Now, this post here says that an Activision Blizzard insider said all this information, and I looked through the information, and the thing is, do I believe that this is actually really an insider? No. But do a lot of those things that are listed here make sense? Yes, they do make a lot of sense. Now, first is, they say that this guy here, or the apparent insider, is a credible source because he was able to name the name and the exact timing information of Blizzard's Overwatch game announcement last November, way before it was officially announced. Now the thing is, you don't need to be an insider for this. I could have done the same. Because Blizzard, several months before Overwatch was released or announced at BlizzCon, they registered a trademark. They registered a trademark for weapons and science fiction and game content and so on with the name Overwatch. And I was looking, does Overwatch fit as a title of an expansion to any of the existing games? Not really. So it was obvious that Overwatch was the name for a new game. And he was also able to predict it, the timing of it, exact timing information. He was able to say, it's going to be announced, this game named Overwatch is going to be announced in November. Now I could have done the same as well here, because what happens in November? BlizzCon! And when does Blizzard usually announce new games? At BlizzCon, and especially knowing or taking into consideration that the Project Titan was delayed quite a long time, you can count 1 plus 1 together and know, okay, in November, this new game named Overwatch is going to be released. So this alone doesn't make this true inside information. I'm going to also explain why. But let's take a look at the different things. Now, the first thing is, the insider says Hearthstone numbers are off the chart. The next expansion is due in April and will be more PvE focused. Team is also experimenting with 2v2 version, but now it comes. Stunningly, Hearthstone has now passed the 75 million player milestone. Now, what does this mean, 75 million player milestone? This is ridiculous! Because even if the number is accurate, the thing is, Hearthstone has in no way 75 million players. Because what can they track? They can only track the number of accounts created. And there might be 75 million accounts created. But what happens that people create multiple accounts. Now, back in the days, you needed to have a different account for each server. They changed it now, but I, for example, created 4 or 5 accounts for Hearthstone alone, just to be able to play on the EU, play on the US when the EU was down, and so on. And another thing that's also in this 75 million player milestone here is that a lot of people, for example, one of my friends, I told him check out Hearthstone, and he checked it out. He downloaded it, played the tutorial, and after they quit immediately. So he played the game for 10 minutes, and then he quit. And there's probably not the only one that just tried it out for a bit and quit. So this number here, 75 million players or 75 million accounts or whatever, it actually means absolutely nothing. What would be way more meaningful here would be a number of, for example, concurrent players online. For example, Steam does it with Valve and Dota. For example, you can see exactly how many players are online at the same time at any given time. And for example, that would be more meaningful number here. For example, do 500,000 players play Hearthstone simultaneously now? Or does 1 million player or 50,000, whatever. But yeah. Now, about Overwatch, they were saying that they're still discussing things, are not really important here. And they were also saying that senior executives are skeptical it can be done by then. The thing is, if this is an insider usually doesn't know exactly what the senior executives or what the bosses of the company know or think. So that's another reason why I think that this is all made up. But as I said, a lot of things are going to be true. And he said there's a tiny chance for December release, but it's more likely to come out in 2016 at this stage. Ultimately, I think it's still far away, Overwatch. We haven't even heard about an alpha or beta yet, unless or except that you were able to register for that. But when it's actually going to start, I don't know. And when the actual game is going to come out, I don't know. But as my previous history with Blizzard is, they take the time for games and try to launch it at a high quality and maybe avoid what happened with Diablo. So I think that might be reasonable. 2016, maybe a beta alpha later this year, we'll see. And this is also interesting. Executives have low expectations for Heroes of the Storm. The insider thinks the many senior staff on the Heroes of the Storm team will be laid off. Again, this is like, not really, doesn't say, like first I said, like the insider probably doesn't know what the executives think or what the expectations are. And they probably also want to share that, oh, this game we think is not going to be good. But reality is, Heroes of the Storm, I also have not that high expectations for it, simply for the reason being that the mobile market is like very established already. There's the two big players, League of Legends, and there is Dota 2. Those are the two big players in the mobile market. And after those, there have been like countless of games. There have been 1,000 or dozens of games that tried to like enter the mobile market. For example, there is Smite, Downgate, whatever. I don't even know all the games that tried to compete with those. But I was checking Smite before. I was like 800 viewers on Twitch. So compared to the League and Dota, even though the games, like I think those other new MOBAs, they are extremely good games. Especially in Smite, I think it's a very good game. But is it really gonna take a lot of share from LoL or Dota? Probably not going to take anything at all. And same is going to happen with Heroes of the Storm. I don't think it's going to do anything to like the existing MOBA games. I don't think it's going to take a share. There might be some people who enjoy the games. I mean, I played it myself. Even though I got bored of it quickly, I still think some people might enjoy the game for a long time or for a short time. But what's also interesting here is many of the senior staff on Heroes of the Storm, they will be laid off. Now, why is this like, doesn't this make sense? The thing this doesn't make sense is because there is no Heroes of the Storm. The Heroes of the Storm's team came from the StarCraft 2 team. It's essentially the same teams. Like a lot of people who worked on StarCraft 2 also work on Heroes of the Storm. It's the same engine, it's the same background behind it, and also like the same game director. Dustin Browder is game director for StarCraft and for Heroes of the Storm. So I don't think the staff is going to be laid off or fired or going to transition to another game. I still think the people who work on StarCraft and Heroes of the Storm are still going to work on those two games. The next thing is, next StarCraft 2 game is already done and ready to go. Now that's also like something I don't really understand, because the thing is, a lot of people from the StarCraft team have been working and are still now working on Heroes of the Storm. So I don't think they just have like a StarCraft 2 game expansion already complete 100% designed and ready, unless it has almost no content. So I think they still need to like work on this StarCraft 2 game, and I also think the release date is going to be later than April or June. But I'm not a StarCraft expert, that is just my own personal feeling. Same about World of Warcraft. The next expansion is almost feature complete. Again, like this is something I can't really understand, because they've been working for Worlds of Draenor until like November, December last year, so they didn't even have time to like really work on a new expansion. They also like still add content now to Worlds of Draenor. I still think like this is again 1 or 2 years away, and they still need to work a lot on this. But now it comes, what probably a lot of you guys have been waiting for. The insider says the Diablo 3 team has been completely gutted for a new project set in the StarCraft universe. Now, first part of this. Has the Diablo 3 team been completely gutted? Now, Blizzard already like responded to that, saying no, we still work on Diablo, we still patch the game, we still improve it, and so on. What is my thoughts on this? My thoughts is that the Diablo 3 team has never really been gutted. Apart from like a few months after the initial release. It is true that there hasn't been much content recently, and even this current patch and new season won't add a lot of content. But the thing is, they are working, but they're working on a new expansion. Now, if you remember back in 2010, there was this Blizzard timeline with all the products and they're going to be released, and you can see here, Diablo 3 Expansion 1. I mean, of course, most of those things are going to be delayed. They are going to be delayed in this other direction a few years, as Blizzard usually does it. But there's a Diablo 3 X2, a second expansion plan. And even like Reaper's Souls, I was playing the beta in 2 years ago or last year, I don't even know when. Last year, yeah. Nah, 2 years ago now, actually. Or let's say 1 year and 2 or 3 months ago. I was playing the beta of Reaper of Souls, and it was always like mentioned, or always like named as Diablo 3 X1, Diablo 3 X1, X1. Before like the name Reaper Souls has been officially announced. So they are working on a second expansion. There is going to be a second expansion, and it makes a lot of sense because the main income for the Diablo games have always been like game sales. That's where they're going to bring the expansion, because that's where the game or the franchise is going to bring a lot of money. Sure, at this early stage, like before the game was released, another method to make money was the real money auction house. But even like at that point, without like the real money house out, I still think Blizzard thought that most money is going to come from sales, because 10 million sales, that's huge. And even like if an expansion only sells like 3 or 5 million times, that's still huge and a lot of money. And that's why like Diablo 3 is like working on this new expansion to like really get the game on another level. So I don't think you have to worry about the that nobody's going to care about Diablo anymore, old people working on new projects, old people working on different things. That's certainly not going to be the case. So I think Diablo is going to be fine, and maybe later this year at BlizzCon, we're going to hear something about next expansion, or we'll see. But now comes second part of this is actually really interesting. There's a new project set in the StarCraft universe. Do I believe that? Yes. The game will be similar to Warframe and contain gameplay aspects from Left 4 Dead, DayZ, Smite, and other MOBAs. It's in early production, pre-production, which means late 2016 or later. Now, why do you think that Blizzard is working on a new game? Well, we know at BlizzCon they have announced Overwatch, with game director being Jeff Kaplan, who used to be the game director of World of Warcraft before, or a key person in World of Warcraft, and then he was working on Titan, and after Titan didn't really, or it got scratched or whatever, he worked on Overwatch and was announced as the game director at this BlizzCon, also talking about the game together with Chris Metzen. So Jeff Kaplan is working on Overwatch. But the thing is he the only game director at Blizzard who has an unannounced game or new game? No. Does anyone remember this guy here? His name is Jay Wilson. He used to be the game director of Diablo 3, but then he decided, probably because he got a lot of hate for the game and stuff, that he's gonna work on something else. He's certainly not gonna work on a Diablo 3 expansion 2, because I think he really doesn't want to spend time on Diablo anymore. So, but he's still a game director at Blizzard, but for another game. And he says he likes games, especially Blizzard ones, anything else about Warhammer on it. Now, Jay Wilson used to work on RTS games, Company of Heroes and other games, so it's very likely that Jay Wilson is game director of a new game, something in the RTS genre. And there's even one more game director. There's Mike Booth. Mike Booth last year was recruiting a lead producer for a new game. It also says game director Blizzard. And he actually, for a long time I thought, and it might still be true, that he's actually also like game director for Overwatch, because he comes from an FPS background. But after reading this here, let's go back. After reading this, there's going to be a game in the StarCraft universe similar to Warframe, containing gameplay aspects from Left 4 Dead, DayZ, Smite, and other MOBAs. So I was checking, like, for example, Left 4 Dead. I never played the game, I don't know much about it, but I was checking it out. Left 4 Dead. And who was the lead producer? Who was the designer of the game, the lead designer? Mike Booth. So the same person that designed Left 4 Dead, that made this game pretty much. He also made, by the way, Nox, a really good action RPG back in the days with Westwood Studios, that I might actually even play myself again. But he was also like the key person in the development of Left 4 Dead. And now he's working on Blizzard, and he actually could be related to this new game, and it actually could be one of those games that they're saying in StarCraft universe and with the different gameplay aspects. So what's for sure is that Blizzard is working on new games, and what I also said also is sure is that the Diablo 3 team is still existent, is still working on stuff. Maybe not so much on current patches or current improvements of the game, but certainly on a new expansion. So you don't have to fear or worry about anything. Things are looking good for the next few years, and I have still pretty good expectations. Apart from maybe like Here's the Storm, because of the reasons that I mentioned before, with the mobile market being extremely hard to enter and being already with some very established companies that also know what they're doing. I mean, Valve knows what they're doing with Dota 2 exactly. Even Riot Games knows what they're doing with League of Legends. So, again, in order for Here's the Storm to be successful, we really have to like attract a new audience or a lot of the existing Blizzard audience. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Those are my thoughts on this. Let me know your own thoughts about the different aspects here, whether you agree with me or whether you disagree on certain things. But as I said, like, I really think that Diablo 3, the team is still there, this team is still existent, and they're just working on new things. They're working on new things for the next expansion, where it's going to be hopefully exciting again to play. I'm probably going to play this new season a bit, starting I think in 10 days or something from now, in 2 weeks, early February, and yeah, hopefully the next expansion is going to be good. Hopefully the other Blizzard games going to turn out to be an success. I personally am super hyped for Overwatch. The new unannounced game, I don't really know, but we'll have to wait for a BlizzCon or maybe a PAX to get more information on those games. Thank you guys for watching. I'm really happy that I'm back again. You can see I'm pretty energetic. I mean, 1 month without streaming, that's like, it was really hard for me to endure. But now I'm going to be back, daily videos, daily streams, at least until next semester of college starts. But I think I can manage to even stream and make a lot of videos in the next semester. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. Hope you like it that I'm back again. And thanks for watching. And I actually got this sent to me recently. I'll be back.